My name is Braden Fletcher, and I learned early that life isn't fair, but I never thought my own parents would be the ones to teach me that lesson. I'm sitting in my beat-up Honda Civic outside Riverside Community College, watching my sister Mackenzie drive away in her shiny new BMW. The car was a graduation gift from our parents. Mine, well, let's just say I'm still driving the same rusty car I bought with my own money 2 years ago. The engine makes a weird noise when I start it, but it gets me where I need to go. That's all that matters, right? At least that's what I tell myself every morning when I turn the key and pray it starts. Mackenzie just finished her second year at Whitmore University. It's one of those fancy schools where kids wear polo shirts and carry designer backpacks. The kind of place I used to dream about attending. The tuition costs $60,000 a year, and our parents pay every penny without complaining. Me? I'm finishing my second year at community college because that's what I can afford. Well, that's what my parents decided I could afford. 2 years ago, when it was time for college applications, things went very differently for us. Mackenzie applied to 12 schools, and our parents hired a college consultant to help her. They paid for SAT prep classes and application fees without blinking. When she got into Whitmore, Dad actually cried happy tears. When my turn came, the conversation was much shorter. "Braden, we think community college would be a good start for you," Mom said during dinner one night. "You can learn responsibility by paying your own way." "But what about Whitmore or State University?" I asked. Dad didn't look up from his plate. "Community college first. We'll see how you do." I remember feeling confused. My grades were good. Not perfect like Mackenzie's, but good enough. I played baseball and volunteered at the animal shelter. I thought I had done everything right. "What about financial aid? Scholarships?" I pressed. "You can figure that out yourself," Dad said. "It'll be good for you." That's when I realized something was different about how they saw me. Mackenzie needed their help and support. I needed to learn lessons. So, while my sister moved into a dorm room with a meal plan and spending money, I got a job at Morrison's warehouse. I work 30 hours a week loading trucks and moving boxes. My hands are always dirty, and my back aches most nights. But it pays for my classes and gas money. The warehouse isn't a bad place. My supervisor, Dale Kowalski, is actually pretty cool. He's been working there for 15 years and treats everyone fairly. He was the first person to tell me I was smart and could do anything I wanted. Sometimes I think he believes in me more than my own parents do. Dale's daughter, Riley, works at Murphy's Diner downtown. She's paying her own way through nursing school, just like I'm paying for college. We started dating 6 months ago, and she gets it. She understands what it's like to work for everything you have. My parents like Riley well enough, but I can tell they think we're both playing poor. They don't understand that some people actually have to work for their dreams. The weird thing is, it wasn't always like this. When I was little, Mom and Dad treated Mackenzie and me the same. We got equal birthday parties and Christmas presents. They came to both of our school events. But somewhere around middle school, things changed. Mackenzie became the golden child who could do no wrong. I became the one who needed to learn responsibility and work harder. I've spent a lot of time wondering what I did wrong. Was it because I questioned their rules sometimes? Because I didn't want to play tennis at the country club? Because I preferred hanging out with friends who weren't rich? Whatever it was, the message became clear. Mackenzie deserved their investment. I needed to prove myself first. The funny thing is, I've maintained a 3.85 GPA while working 30 hours a week. Mackenzie has a 3.2 GPA with no job and all the help in the world. But somehow, I'm still the one who hasn't proven himself. Tomorrow, I find out if I got the Henderson Foundation scholarship. It's a full ride to any four-year university for students who've overcome financial hardship. If I get it, everything changes. I could finally transfer to State University and study engineering like I've always wanted. But there's something my parents don't know yet. Something that might change everything between us. The truth has a way of coming out, even when people try to bury it. Especially when it's been buried for 18 years. The alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning, just like it has every day for the past 2 years. I roll out of bed and put on my work clothes. Jeans, steel-toed boots, and a Morrison's Warehouse t-shirt that's seen better days. By 6:15, I'm clocking in for my shift. The warehouse is cold in the winter and hot in the summer, but it's honest work. I load trucks with Dale and the other guys until 2 in the afternoon. Then I drive straight to campus for my 3 o'clock class. Most days, I'm running on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Coffee becomes your best friend when you're trying to study calculus after lifting boxes for 8 hours. My professors don't know about my work schedule, and I don't tell them. I don't want them to think I'm making excuses if my grades slip. Dale notices when I'm extra tired, though. He's been watching out for me since my first day. "You doing okay, kid?" he asked last week when I nearly fell asleep standing up. "Just tired," I said. "You know, most people your age are sleeping until noon and playing video games," he said. "What you're doing takes guts." Dale's the first adult who's ever talked to me like I'm doing something right instead of something I need to fix. His daughter Riley gets the same respect from him. Maybe that's why we understand each other so well. Riley works the breakfast shift at Murphy's Diner, serving coffee and pancakes to truck drivers and early commuters. She's been saving every tip for nursing school. Her hands always smell like syrup and coffee, but I love holding them anyway. "My parents think I'm crazy for working so hard," she told me once. "They keep saying I should just take out student loans like everyone else." "At least they're not paying for your sister's everything while telling you to figure it out yourself," I said. She squeezed my hand. "That's messed up, Brayden. You know that, right?" "I do know it's messed up, but knowing it and understanding why are two different things." While I'm loading trucks and studying until midnight, Mackenzie posts pictures from her college life on social media. Spring break in Cabo with her sorority sisters. Weekend trips to the city for shopping. Study abroad in Italy last semester, where she took cooking classes and toured vineyards. All of it paid for by our parents. When she comes home for holidays, the conversation at dinner is always about her adventures. Mom and Dad hang on every word. They ask about her friends, her classes, her plans for summer. "Tell us about the internship in New York," Mom said last Christmas. "It's at this amazing marketing firm," Mackenzie said. "I'll be staying in an apartment in Manhattan. Dad already said he'd help with the rent." I almost choked on my food. Dad was going to pay her rent for an unpaid internship in one of the most expensive cities in the world. "What about you, Brayden?" Mom asked, like she suddenly remembered I was there. "I'll probably pick up extra shifts at the warehouse," I said. "That's nice, honey," she said. But she was already turning back to Mackenzie. The worst part is when Mackenzie struggles with something and gets immediate help. Last fall, she was failing organic chemistry. Within a week, my parents had hired Dr. Peterson, a retired professor who charges $100 an hour for tutoring. When I was struggling with calculus, I asked if I could get a tutor too. "There are free tutoring services at your school," Dad said. "Use those." The free tutoring was only available during hours when I was working. So I figured it out myself, just like I always do. Sometimes I wonder if they even realize what they're doing. Do they see how different they treat us? Or is it so normal to them that they don't notice anymore? The strange thing is, I can't remember exactly when it started. When I was really little, maybe 6 or 7, things felt equal. I have pictures of birthday parties where Mackenzie and I got the same size cakes. Christmas mornings where our presents were equally distributed under the tree. But somewhere around the time I turned 8, something shifted. I can't put my finger on what happened, but the balance changed. Mackenzie became the one who needed protection and support. I became the one who needed to learn tough lessons. I've tried asking about it before, but I never get straight answers. "You're different kids with different needs," Mom always says. "Mackenzie's more sensitive," Dad adds. "You're stronger. You can handle more." But I don't feel stronger. I feel tired and confused. And sometimes when I'm lying in bed after a long day, I feel angry. Not angry at Mackenzie. She didn't choose this any more than I did. She's actually a good sister when our parents aren't around. We used to be close when we were kids. I'm angry at the unfairness of it all. At the fact that I have to prove myself worthy of the same love and support they give her automatically. But tomorrow might change everything. Tomorrow I find out about the Henderson Foundation scholarship. And if I get it, maybe I'll finally understand why my parents have always treated me like I was different. Maybe I'll finally learn what they've been hiding from me all these years. The letter comes on a Tuesday morning in February. I'm getting ready for work when Mom calls upstairs. "Brayden, you have mail from the Henderson Foundation." My heart stops. This is it. 2 months ago, I submitted my application for the scholarship that could change everything. Full tuition, room and board, plus money for books and expenses. It's designed for students who've overcome financial hardship while maintaining strong grades. I run downstairs and grab the thick envelope from Mom's hands. Thick is good. Thin letters usually mean rejection. Well, she asks, but she doesn't sound excited. She sounds worried. I tear open the envelope and scan the letter quickly. The words jump out at me. Congratulations, pleased to inform you, full scholarship award, State University. I got it, I whisper, then louder. I got it. Mom, I got the Henderson Foundation scholarship. Instead of celebrating, Mom's face goes pale. Oh, she says quietly. That's wonderful, honey. Her reaction is weird, but I'm too excited to think about it much. I call Riley first, then Dale. They're both thrilled for me. Riley actually screams with joy, and Dale says he's proud of me. But I want my parents to be proud too. I want them to finally see that I've been working towards something bigger all along. That evening, I wait until we're all at dinner to share the details. Dad is cutting his steak when I clear my throat. So I got some big news today, I say. Mackenzie looks up from her phone. She's home for winter break, which means all conversations revolve around her usually. I won the Henderson Foundation scholarship, I announce. Full ride to State University. They're covering everything. Tuition, room, board, books, even a monthly stipend. I expect them to be amazed, to ask questions, to celebrate with me. Instead, there's silence. That's nice, dear, Mom finally says. The same way she'd respond if I told her I found $1 on the sidewalk. Nice? I repeat. Mom, this is a full scholarship to State University. Do you know how hard it is to get? They only give out 20 of these nationwide. We're very proud of you, Dad says, but he won't look at me. He's still focused on his steak. Mackenzie is the first to show any real interest. Wait, how much is that worth? About $200,000 over 4 years, I say. Now she looks impressed. Wow, Brayden, that's actually amazing. But my parents still seem uncomfortable. Mom keeps fidgeting with her napkin, and Dad is eating like he wants dinner to end as quickly as possible. There's just one thing, I continue. I need a recommendation letter from a family member, someone who can write about my character and verify the financial hardship I've faced. The room gets even quieter. What kind of letter? Dad asks slowly. Just explaining that I've been working to pay for college myself, that I've had to overcome financial challenges that other students haven't faced. It's pretty standard for these types of scholarships. Mom and Dad exchange a look. It's quick, but I catch it. I don't think we can write that letter, Mom says. What? Why not? Because it wouldn't be honest, she explains. We could afford to help you with college if we wanted to. We chose not to because we thought it would be better for your character development. I stare at her, but that's exactly why I've faced financial hardship. Because you chose not to help me while helping Mackenzie with everything. That's different, Dad says firmly. The scholarship is for students whose families can't afford college. We can afford it. But you didn't pay for it. I'm getting frustrated now. I've been working 30 hours a week for 2 years. I've struggled to pay for classes and books while Mackenzie gets everything handed to her. That's literally the definition of financial hardship. Don't be dramatic, Brayden, Mackenzie says. They're right. It would be lying. I can't believe what I'm hearing. My own family won't help me get a scholarship I earned through years of hard work because they think it would be dishonest. So what am I supposed to do, I ask. Find another way, Dad says. You're good at that. That night, I lie in bed staring at the ceiling. I keep thinking about their faces when I told them about the scholarship. They didn't look proud or happy. They looked scared. But scared of what? The next day, I talked to Dale about it during our lunch break. That's messed up, kid, he says, shaking his head. You want me to write the letter? Can you do that? You're not family. The application says family member or someone who can verify your work history and financial situation. I've been your supervisor for 2 years. I know exactly how hard you've worked. And why. Dale spends his evening writing a 3-page letter about my work ethic, my financial situation, and my character. He includes copies of my work schedule and pay stubs as proof. Your parents don't deserve you, he says when he hands me the envelope. But that scholarship committee is going to see what I see. A kid who's earned everything he's gotten. As I seal the letter in the scholarship packet, I make a decision. I'm done waiting for my parents' approval. I'm done trying to figure out why they treat me differently. If they won't support my dreams, I'll find people who will. But deep down, I still wonder what they're so afraid of. Why does my success make them nervous instead of proud? And why do I get the feeling that the scholarship is going to change more than just my college plans? 3 months later, I'm sitting in my car outside the warehouse when my phone rings. The caller ID shows Henderson Foundation, and my hands start shaking. Hello, Braden Fletcher. The voice is warm and professional. Yes, that's me. This is Dr. Sarah Chen from the Henderson Foundation. I'm calling with wonderful news. You've been selected as one of our scholarship recipients for this year.
I have to pull over because I can't see straight.
After she explains all the details, full tuition, room and board at State University, plus a monthly stipend for expenses, I thank her about 10 times and hang up. Dale is the first person I call. He whoops so loud that other workers come over to see what's happening. Riley cries happy tears when I tell her. She says she always knew I could do it. But I want to share this moment with my family too. Despite everything, they're still my parents. Maybe this will finally make them proud. I drive home with the biggest smile I've had in years. I'm going to study engineering at State University. I'm going to have a real college experience. Everything I've worked for is finally happening. When I walk through the front door, I hear voices in the living room. Mom and Dad are sitting on the couch with papers spread out on the coffee table. Mackenzie is there too, which is weird because she's supposed to be at school. Hey everyone, I say, trying to contain my excitement. I have amazing news, but they don't look up from their papers. Dad is writing something, and Mom is looking at what appears to be financial documents. What's going on? I ask. We're helping your sister plan for graduate school, Mom explains without looking at me. She wants to get her master's in marketing, and we're figuring out the financing. My excitement deflates a little. Even now, when I have the biggest news of my life, they're focused on Mackenzie's future plans. That's great, Mac, I say to my sister. But listen, I got a call today from the Henderson Foundation. Now they look up, and the expression on their faces is strange. Not excited, not curious. They look almost afraid. I won the scholarship, I announce. Full ride to State University. Everything paid for. I start in the fall. The silence that follows is deafening. That's nice, honey, Mom finally says. But her voice sounds flat. Nice? I just won a scholarship worth $200,000, and she says it's nice? This is huge, I continue, hoping to get some kind of reaction. I'll be studying engineering. This changes everything for me. Good for you, Dad says curtly, then turns back to Mackenzie's papers. I stand there for a moment, not understanding. This should be a celebration. This should be one of the best moments of our family's life. Instead, they're acting like I told them I got a haircut. Mackenzie at least seems genuinely happy. Congratulations, Braden. That's really awesome. Thanks, I say, but I'm looking at my parents. Don't you guys want to know more about it? The program, the university, what I'll be studying. I'm sure you'll figure it all out, Dad says without looking up. You always do. That's when I notice something that makes my stomach drop. On the coffee table, mixed in with Mackenzie's graduate school papers, is a form titled Financial Aid Appeal, demonstrating financial hardship. What's that? I ask, pointing to the form. Mom quickly covers it with other papers. Nothing important. But I saw enough to understand. They're helping Mackenzie apply for need-based financial aid by claiming the family has financial hardship. The same financial hardship they said didn't exist when I needed their help with my scholarship letter. You're helping her lie about our family's finances to get aid? I ask. It's not lying, Dad says defensively. Graduate school is expensive. We need to explore all options. But when I needed you to write about actual financial hardship, my financial hardship from working to pay for school while you funded everything for her, you said it would be dishonest. The hypocrisy hits me like a truck. They won't help me get a scholarship I earned, but they'll help Mackenzie get aid she doesn't deserve. That's different, Mom says weakly. How is it different? Nobody answers me. They just sit there, looking uncomfortable. You know what, I say, my voice getting louder. I don't need you to be proud of me. I don't need you to celebrate with me. I've gotten this far without your help, and I'll keep going without it. I start to leave, But then I notice something else on the table. It's a bank statement, and the account balance shows over $300,000 in savings. More than enough to pay for both my education and Mackenzie's graduate school without anyone needing financial aid. Wow, I say quietly. You really just don't want to spend money on me, do you? This time Dad looks up, and there's something in his eyes I've never seen before. Guilt? Maybe? Or fear? Brayden, it's not about the money, he says. Then what is it about? Because I've been trying to figure out for years why you treat me like I'm worth less than her. Mom and Dad exchange that look again. The same one they shared when I first told them about the scholarship application. It's complicated, Mom whispers. No, it's not, I say. Either you love me the same as her, or you don't. And after 18 years, I think I have my answer. I walk upstairs to my room and close the door. Outside my window, I can see Mackenzie's BMW in the driveway next to my beat-up Honda. Even now, after winning the biggest scholarship of my life, nothing has changed. But as I sit on my bed, looking at the Henderson Foundation acceptance letter, I realize something has changed. I'm done trying to earn their love. I'm done wondering what I did wrong. Because maybe the question isn't what I did wrong. Maybe the question is what they've been hiding from me all along. And maybe it's time I started looking for answers. The next few weeks pass in a strange blur. My parents act like nothing happened, but there's tension in the house that wasn't there before. They avoid talking about my scholarship or state university. When relatives call to congratulate me, they hand me the phone quickly and leave the room. Something is definitely wrong, and I'm tired of pretending I don't notice. I start small, looking through old family photo albums while my parents are at work. I spread them out on my bed and study the pictures carefully. There's something I've never paid attention to before. In the early photos, when Mackenzie and I were really little, we look like a normal family. Christmas mornings, birthday parties, trips to the beach. Mom and Dad are holding both of us equally. Their smiles look genuine and happy. But as I get older in the pictures, something changes. Around age 7 or 8, the photos start looking different. Mom and Dad still smile, but it looks forced when they're holding me. There are more pictures of just Mackenzie with them, and fewer family shots with all 4 of us. I find one photo that stops me cold. It's from my 8th birthday party. I'm blowing out candles on a cake, but Dad isn't looking at me. He's staring off to the side with this weird expression on his face. Mom has her arm around Mackenzie, but she's standing far away from me. What happened when I turned 8? That evening, I try a different approach. During dinner, I bring up family history. Mom, do you have any pictures of when you and Dad were dating? I ask casually. She nearly chokes on her water. Why do you want to see those? Just curious about what you guys were like before we were born. Dad sets down his fork. Those pictures are packed away somewhere. What about your college friends? Do you still talk to any of them? Now both parents are looking uncomfortable. Mom fidgets with her napkin, and Dad won't meet my eyes. College was a long time ago, Mom says quickly. But didn't you say you met at State University? That's where I'm going. Maybe I could look up some of your old professors or something. I doubt any of them are still there, Dad says sharply. Can we change the subject? The reaction tells me I'm on the right track. There's something about Mom's college years they don't want to discuss. Over the next week, I start paying attention to things I never noticed before. Like how I look nothing like anyone else in my family. Dad is average height with light brown hair and blue eyes. Mom is short with the same brown hair and blue eyes. Mackenzie looks exactly like a combination of both of them. Medium height, brown hair, blue eyes. Then there's me. I'm tall and lean with dark hair and green eyes. I've always been told I got my looks from distant relatives, but now I'm wondering if that's true. I also start noticing how relatives react when they see me. At family gatherings, some of the older relatives do double takes when they look at me. I always thought they were just surprised by how much I'd grown, but maybe it was something else. The breakthrough comes when I visit my grandmother, Dorothy Fletcher. She's Dad's mom, and she lives in a nursing home about 20 minutes away. I try to visit her once a month, but my parents rarely come with me anymore. Dorothy has early-stage dementia, which means she's usually confused about current events, but sometimes remembers old things clearly. Hi, Grandma, I say, settling into the chair next to her bed. She looks at me for a long moment, and her eyes get wide. "My goodness," she whispers. "You look so much like your real father, Brayden. Same eyes, same stubborn chin." My blood goes cold. "What do you mean, my real father?" But Dorothy's expression changes, and she looks confused again. "Who are you, dear? Are you here to visit someone?" "Grandma, it's me, Brayden, your grandson." "Oh yes, of course. How silly of me." She pats my hand. "You're such a good boy to visit." I try to bring up what she said about my real father, but she doesn't remember saying anything. The conversation moves on to other things, but I can't stop thinking about her words. That night, I lie awake staring at the ceiling. Your real father? Same eyes, same stubborn chin. Could it be possible? Could Robert Fletcher not be my biological father? It would explain everything. The way they treat me differently. The uncomfortable looks when I succeed. The fear in their eyes when I won the scholarship. But if Robert isn't my father, who is? And why would they keep it a secret for 18 years? The next day, I go back to the photo albums with fresh eyes. I study every picture of my parents from their college years and early marriage. Most of the photos show just the two of them, but there are a few group shots with friends. In one photo from what looks like a college party, I spot something interesting. Mom is standing next to a tall guy with dark hair and green eyes. He's not Dad. Dad is shorter with lighter hair. But the guy looks familiar somehow. I turn the photo over, and there's writing in Mom's handwriting. Linda, Robert, Marcus, and friends, spring. Marcus. I've never heard that name mentioned in our family. I search through more photos and find 2 more pictures with the same guy. In all of them, he's standing close to Mom, and they look comfortable together. Happy, even. Who is Marcus? And why does looking at him feel like looking in a mirror? That weekend, I work up the courage to ask my parents directly. Mom, I was looking through old photos, and I saw some pictures of a guy named Marcus. Who was he? Mom drops the dish she was washing. It shatters on the kitchen floor. I don't remember anyone named Marcus, she stammers, but her face has gone completely white. Dad appears in the doorway. What's going on? Brayden was asking about some old photos, Mom says, not looking at either of us. Dad's face hardens. Maybe you should focus on your own future instead of digging through the past. But I can see it in their eyes now. The fear I've been seeing for months makes sense. They're not afraid of my success. They're afraid of my questions. They're afraid I'm going to find out the truth about Marcus. And maybe, just maybe, I'm going to find out the truth about myself. Mackenzie's graduation from Whitmore University is supposed to be the biggest celebration of the year. Mom has been planning this party for months. The whole extended family is coming. Aunts, uncles, cousins, and both sets of grandparents. I watch from the audience as my sister walks across the stage in her cap and gown. She looks beautiful and confident, like she belongs up there. When they call her name, our parents cheer louder than anyone else. After the ceremony, we go to the fancy restaurant Mom reserved for the celebration dinner. The whole family fills up 3 large tables. Everyone wants to hear about Mackenzie's plans for graduate school and her internship in New York City. I sit quietly at the end of one table, picking at my food. People congratulate me on my scholarship when they remember I'm there, but most of the attention is on Mackenzie, which is fine. This is her day. But then something strange happens. Great Aunt Margaret, who I haven't seen in years, comes over to say hello. She's Dad's aunt, a tiny woman with sharp eyes who doesn't miss anything. My goodness, Brayden, she says, studying my face carefully. You've grown into such a handsome young man. Thank you, I say politely. She keeps staring at me with this odd expression. You know, you look exactly like someone I used to know. The resemblance is really quite remarkable. Before I can ask what she means, Uncle Tom calls her over to another table. But as she walks away, I hear her whisper to my cousin Sarah, I can't believe they never told him about Marcus. The resemblance is uncanny. My fork freezes halfway to my mouth. There's that name again. Marcus. After dinner, the party moves to our house for cake and more celebrating. The whole place is packed with relatives talking and laughing. I try to enjoy myself, but I keep thinking about what Great Aunt Margaret said. Around 9 o'clock, I'm helping clear dishes when I overhear a conversation between Margaret and my mom's sister, Aunt Beth. Linda looks nervous tonight. Margaret says quietly. Well, graduation parties are stressful, Beth replies. It's not that, Margaret says. She keeps looking at Brayden like she's waiting for something to happen, like she's afraid he's going to figure something out. Figure what out? Margaret lowers her voice even more. About his real father, about Marcus Sullivan. I drop the plates I'm carrying. They crash to the kitchen floor, and everyone in the room turns to look at me. Sorry, I mumble, bending down to pick up the pieces. But my hands are shaking so badly, I can barely hold them. Marcus Sullivan. Now I have a full name. The party starts winding down around 10:30. As relatives hug goodbye and head to their cars, I make a decision. I can't wait any longer. I need answers tonight. I find my parents in the living room, cleaning up wrapping paper and empty glasses. Mackenzie is upstairs, probably posting pictures from her graduation on social media. Mom, Dad, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. We need to talk. They both look up, and I can see the fear in their eyes again. About what, honey? Mom asks, but her voice is shaking. About Marcus Sullivan. The silence that follows is deafening. Dad's face goes completely white, and Mom actually sits down like her legs won't hold her up anymore. I don't know what you're talking about, Dad says, but his voice sounds weak. Great Aunt Margaret mentioned him tonight. She said I look exactly like him. She said she can't believe you never told me about him. Mom puts her head in her hands. Oh, God. Who is Marcus Sullivan? I ask directly. And why does everyone think I look like him? For a long moment, nobody speaks. Then Dad looks at Mom, and something passes between them. Some kind of silent agreement. Sit down, Brayden, Mom says quietly. I sit on the edge of the couch, my heart pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears. Mom takes a deep breath. Marcus Sullivan was someone I knew in college. Someone you knew? Or someone you dated? She winces. Someone I loved. The words hit me like a punch to the stomach. Before Dad? During a break, she says quickly. Your father and I had broken up for a few months during our junior year. That's when I met Marcus. And Mom looks at Dad, who nods slightly. And I got pregnant, she whispers. The room starts spinning. I grip the arm of the couch to steady myself. Pregnant with me. She nods, tears streaming down her face. Marcus is my father. Your biological father, yes, Dad says quietly. But I'm your real father. I've raised you since you were born. I can barely process what they're telling me. Everything I thought I knew about myself, about my family, has been a lie. Does he know about me? I ask. Mom shakes her head. We never told him. When Robert and I got back together, we decided it would be better if no one knew the truth. Better for who? For everyone, Dad says. For our marriage. For you. For Marcus. What about me? I stand up, anger flooding through me. What about what would be better for me? We thought we were protecting you, Mom says. Protecting me from what? From knowing who I really am? From the complications, Dad says. From having a divided family. From confusion. You mean from embarrassment? I say. You were embarrassed that Mom had a baby with someone else? Dad's face hardens. That's not fair. Fair? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. You want to talk about fair? You've spent 18 years treating me differently. Because every time you look at me, you see another man. That's not true, Mom protests. Yes, it is, I say. It explains everything. Why you paid for Mackenzie's college, but not mine. Why you never seemed proud of my achievements. Why you looked scared when I won the scholarship. The scholarship, Dad says quietly. What about it? Mom and Dad exchange another look. Marcus won a full scholarship to medical school. Mom whispers. When you won yours, and you looked so much like him, we were afraid people would start asking questions. People like who? Like your great Aunt Margaret, Dad says. Like anyone who knew Marcus back then. The truth hits me all at once. My whole life has been shaped by their fear of this secret coming out. They've held me at arm's length for 18 years because they were terrified someone would notice I look like my real father. Where is he now? I ask. Marcus. He became a doctor, Mom says. A surgeon, I think. He lives about 2 hours from here. And he still doesn't know about me. They both shake their heads. I look at these people who raised me, who I've called Mom and Dad my whole life, and I feel like I'm seeing strangers. 18 years, I say quietly. You've lied to me for 18 years. We were trying to do the right thing, Mom says, reaching for my hand. I pull away. The right thing would have been telling me the truth. I walk toward the stairs, but Dad calls after me. Brayden, please, you're still our son. This doesn't change anything.
I turned back to look at him. It changes everything, Dad. It explains why I never felt like I belonged here. Why I always felt like I had to earn your love while Mackenzie got it automatically.
We do love you, Mom says desperately. Maybe, I say, but you love her more. And now I know why. I go upstairs to my room and close the door. Outside my window, the neighborhood is quiet and peaceful. Everyone else is living their normal lives while mine has just been turned upside down. I sit on my bed and think about everything that makes sense now. The uncomfortable looks from relatives, the way my parents treated me differently, the fear in their eyes when I succeeded. For 18 years, I thought there was something wrong with me, something that made me less worthy of their love and support. But it was never about me. It was about them, about their shame and their fear and their inability to see me as anything other than a reminder of Mom's past. Tomorrow, I start making my own decisions about my future. And maybe, just maybe, I'll decide whether I want to know the man who was actually my father. The man whose eyes I inherited. The man who earned a scholarship just like I did. The man who might actually be proud of me. That's the end. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Where are you listening from? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this tale, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your support gives me the motivation to post more frequently.